Alright, we're back with another tier list, an interesting one this time. Initially we were going to do Black Lagoon and Evangelion for this month as our 2 tier lists, but now I finished Fullmetal Alchemist about a day ago, and we've got to do this one now because I'm far more interested in doing this than the Black Lagoon one, which everyone understands what characters are good and not in Black Lagoon. So I've semi-sorted them into some weird order at the beginning here, then we'll get into the more clusterfuck wide variety of characters. This is probably not everyone, though the library girl is here, and so's this dude, and they're pretty fringe characters. Forgive me for forgetting some names. I forget who this guy is. So chat, tell me who this guy is. Because it's not Kimberly, right? Kimberly's up here somewhere. He does look similar, though, and he definitely looks like a bad guy. So we'll talk about him when we get to him. Miller's saying hello to YouTube. Let's just get into this. So we start here. We've put the main boys at the beginning, and I've been very direct in this that I think Al is not Al. This is Ed. Ed is very good. He's pretty great. Now this I've decided. I think we said this in other character tier lists, but in case this is the first one, the tiers are relative to the series we're doing him on. So I don't think Ed is an S tier character as in the same like tier as I'd put like the Berserk S tier characters in. Like for Fullmetal Alchemist, Ed is an S tier character is how we're basically doing it. So it's like different for each list basically. Just in combination to the rest of the characters, Ed is an S tier. He stands out. He's better than most in this series. I think he's probably the best shonen protagonist I've ever seen. Not that big of a fan of Naruto or Deku, and it's been so long since I've seen Dragon Ball for me to compare him to Goku, and that's really all I've fucking seen of shonen, unless you want to count Eren, which we don't for Ed's sake here. So I think he's pretty well. Yeah, the constant short gags is good. His foil being that he's short is a neat little thing. Traditional hero's journey with our boy Ed here does well. He does well in most areas. He has the big emotional moments. He has the big action moments. He does everything a typical shonen boy is supposed to do, but he does it the best I've probably ever seen. That's probably how we would summarize Fullmetal Alchemist overall is better than the average shonen in every conceivable way. It does basically all of the like generic, for lack of a better word, not shonen, but generic like hero's journey storytelling things better than maybe I've ever seen before. Very creative world. Still not sold on alchemy as much as a power, but our boy Ed stands out above all the other characters on this list. Well, not all of them, just above most of them, because he is an S tier boy. Alphonse, I think we'll safely put in B tier. Alphonse, the more like emotional one of the group, like the more feelsy one, it gets a bit grating at points, and I don't know. He's I don't dislike when he's on screen, but I'm never like glad Alphonse is back because he's never really gone for that long. But he's a stationary B tier boy. I don't think I'm struggling to find things to say about our boy Al here. Him getting his body back at the end was handled weirdly. We'll talk about that more as we progress. His character arc of like his character more, the design of his character is great. The character designs in this series are pretty fucking great. But like the conceit behind his character, him being like the little boy in the big body, the younger brother that's actually the big brother in both like size and emotional maturity most of the time. But he's also not the hero of this story. He's very much his brother's sidekick. A great little characterizing thing is that Alphonse is said repeatedly to be stronger than Edward, which is interesting when like the shonen protagonist usually just doesn't accept that his younger brother is stronger than him. But alas, these two have that sort of dynamic. I always hated the chapters where they teased them breaking up. They only did that like once towards the beginning, but the chapter of them like coming back together, it's supposed to be like a whole heartfelt moment, and I really didn't care at all. Their dynamic works on a basic level, but it's not much better than that. Let's talk about Homenheim here. Homenheim is an interesting one, but I think I'm going to put him in B tier as well. Now, Fullmetal Alchemist does this great thing where it makes you think Homenheim is the villain until it's revealed that he's not, and his doppelganger is actually the villain, who we'll come to know as father. Obviously, they call him father before that, but you're like, he's Edward and Elle's father. It's a little clever thing, but the plot twist there is great. It's borderline perfect. It's one of the best fucking plot twists I've ever seen. The fact that father isn't actually our father, it's fucking great. But does that really do much for fucking Hohenheim? Like, it feels like you have all this characterization for Hohenheim, and then you have, like, next to none. He has moments at the end where he's like, "Don't mock my son," and it's like a big, like, "Oh, fuck you" moment, which is neat. He's not very emotional, our boy Hohenheim. Doesn't very much express how he feels unless he's talking or thinking about Tricia. You may as well put Tricia in B tier as well. Really not much of a character, more of a, like, motivational tool. Tricia is. Every scene she's in, like in flashbacks and things like that, she comes across as, like, lovable and, like, the very nice, kind, gentle woman that she's supposed to be, to have spawned these three. Well, not spawn, but be responsible for the character trajectory of these three. So it all fits, but overall, not that much of a character, but she gets the job done. Hohenheim's death at the end, and them together, their intertwinedness, if that's even a word, I'm sure it's not, but that's what really drives most of their characters, both of their characters, and that's when they are the best, is when they're talking about, reminiscing, or even in the extra thing that's apparently not in the anime, my chat has told me, of the actual last chapter, the bonus side story at the end of volume 27, where it's like them holding hands over their graves as they, like, make up again. That's a fantastic scene. It's a nice little scene. It's probably them at their best, but I don't think they journey up to A or S tier. Let's just check in what the fucking chat is saying. The Isaac Mcdougal, he is a filler character from Brotherhood episode 1. This bloke down here, it's important to say that I've only read the manga, and seeing them all in color here is weird, and I don't know how I feel about it. And I've seen episode 1 of the 2003 series. I watched it like 2 days ago. I have not seen Brotherhood. I have not seen anything past episode 1 of the original series. So if I miss things out, or if I say things that didn't happen how you remembered them, it's probably because I read the manga and you watched the anime, and the reason I don't know who the fuck this is. I know Brotherhood episode 1 is like filler or something. That's all I know. Hohenheim making friends with all the souls in his body was pretty sick, though. Yeah, the reveal that he's, like, talked to all 500,000 of them over the years is great. Yeah, I like that stuff about him, too. Millen making good points in the chat here. Now we get to Winry. Now, despite the issues I have with the final scene between these two, I do still think they are great together, and it is probably the best shonen relationship I've ever seen. Definitely better than, like, Naruto and Hinazu, who have, like, no relationship. At least we know what these two are like around each other. They are around each other a lot. How Winry, I've said this before, but how Winry is cycled in and out of the plot, like, with, like, super ease, and it feels like it flows and it always works, is, like, really good. And it really makes me angry that she wasn't around for the final battle and she was just waiting at home for some stupid reason, where she was, like, basically there every step of the way besides that for most of the important moments. I feel like she's a little hard done by the end, especially that train scene at the end. I despise that scene with every fiber of my being. But nonetheless, Winry is a great character. I go into this in my Patreon bonus video that you can get. It's already come out when you're seeing this character tier list video. But I say in that Winry is different than most other shonen girls because she has a purpose and she has, like, dreams in the world of Fullmetal Alchemist outside of just being in love with Edward, which she doesn't even realize until a little bit into this series. They both realize it about each other. Again, it's the hero's journey, so a whole massive part of both of their character arcs is realizing how each other have grown up. Like, Ed starts to realize he actually has feelings for Winry, and Winry has, like, multiple moments where she notices, like, Ed is taking on all this responsibility and, like, his shoulders have gotten broader is, like, a big moment, like, in chapter, like, 50 or something. Yeah, it's, like, part of their dual character journey of growing up together and realizing they like each other. It's very well done until that terrible train scene where they still don't give us a confession, which is awful. What do we do with Winry's parents? Really nothing characters. Not really important or in anything at all. I guess they get a C tier because I literally feel nothing when I see them. The old lady, she gets a B tier too. Paninko or whatever her name is. She's cool. Every scene she's in, she's fine in. I do like the thing where she was the one that buried Tricia's like fake rebirth body, and like she goes with Edward to dig it up when they realize it actually wasn't Tricia. That's all good. She's good. She gets a B tier. Our boy Lynn. Now I know a lot of people love our boy Lynn. And he's not going any less than A tier, but is he an S tier character? I feel like I don't care at all about greed. I feel like Lynn is at his best when he's in control of greed, or the before and after greed was a part of him thing. I feel like a lot of people liked their little combination they had going, and again, maybe it's a little different in the anime. Like the gags and stuff, he very much is similar to Edward in a lot of ways. In sort of the very jokingly also, like he has the gag of, Ed has his short gags and Lynn has the gags of always being funny. Lynn also seems to be very playful and he like just goes with the flow all the time, but then he can switch and get very serious all of a sudden. Again, very similar to Ed. I think we'll leave him in S tier and put him sort of at the bottom here and let him rest. We'll think about it more as we go. I feel like the greed stuff at the end is a little rushed, maybe. I'm very conflicted on our boy Lynn. I remember my favorite parts with Lynn are more like when he's cutting Gluttony up, way at the beginning where he's like jumping through him. I remember that slash. All the interactions he has with Bradley are great throughout, and the fact that they can learn off each other as Lynn is the future emperor and Bradley is currently king. We'll talk about Bradley when we get to him. But Lan Fan, if that's even how you say her name, again, I can only read this, but she is better than all of these idiots. God, her redesign is fucking glorious. The way she comes in and she just kills Gluttony so bad that, like, Pride realizes how useless Gluttony is and has to fucking eat him. Well, doesn't have to, but, like, it's a whole point made that Pride would stoop so low as to eat Gluttony. But, like, what a fucking moment when she reappears. I don't know how it's done in the anime, but in the manga, it is spectacular. Her elbow slicing thing is the coolest thing ever. She is presented in that moment to be, like, the strongest character we've ever seen. And it sort of sucks that she doesn't do anything after that. She cuts Father, or I don't know, the dwarf in the flask, whatever we want to call him. He cuts his arm off at the end when he's, like, grabbing Lynn. But that's like the only thing she does, and then she chooses not to kill Bradley out of vengeance before he's like bleeding out. So she has some character moments, but she really only gets that one fighting moment with her new cool automail fucking shit. And it is spectacular, and she's super hot. So, you know, she's got everything over here. Fucking let's go Lan Fan. Easily the best character we've talked about so far. Let's see what chat is doing. There would be nothing for Winry to do in the final stretch. They could have thought of something to make her do. Mrs. Arakawa could have thought for something for her to do. This is a conceptual issue, not a fucking, what do you call it when it's not conceptual anymore? Not a practical issue I have with it. She definitely should have been there to at least see Ed, like, defeat God, like Jesus Christ. Instead, she's waiting at home like some fucking dumb damsel, which she was exactly not throughout the entire series. She could have been there, like, working on automail or something. She could have been doing something. Maybe she could have became a fighter throughout the series a little bit, or learned how to use a gun or something. I don't know. Though it was a big point in her character arc that she doesn't use the gun with her whole Scar thing. But she could have done something else. She could have run intelligence or something. She could have had some sort of use in that final battle. They could have written that into her character. Again, I say they when I mean Mrs. Arakawa. I agreed respecting that Lynn willingly takes his power, eventually rules kingdom is pretty cool. I don't know. I think I'm a lot less high on Lynn than most people are. Old Man Fu, I think, will take our first A tier one. One of the only people that dies in the series. You definitely feel for his death at the end. It is a fucking spectacular moment. Bring him up now. Where is he? Where's our... I want to call him Crocodile Dude, but that's not his name. He has the chainsaw. Where is he? He's the other death at the end. We'll put them both in A tier because it is a spectacular fucking... Here he is. It is a spectacular fucking moment here where they both, like, sacrifice themselves to wound Bradley, and eventually that leads to Bradley's demise at the hand of Scar. what a great moment between the two of them. Great way to give like fodder characters that you knew someone had to die, and you knew if anyone was going to die protecting the gate, it was going to be these two. But you weren't sure, so there was tension and mystery there. It was great to get the payoff when Bradley like cuts people down, but then they still are sort of breathing and they have a little bit left. And if they get them to a doctor, they might survive because we've seen it before. But if they don't, they don't. And they both choose to sacrifice themselves to stab Bradley, and it is a fucking great moment. Very, very well done with both of these characters. Their final stand is great. Him slapping Leifan and then like the reveal that he's her grandfather after that was a cool little moment. Again, all the Zing people were really cool in fighting Stature, and just the difference in the variety they brought to the show. And this dude had been cool the whole way through. He had the cool automail thing, great design. It was sort of our introduction to Briggs and everything that was going on up there. Good stuff from both of these two. Like them a lot. Now we got Bradley. Now, Bradley, I think we've got to put him in front of Leifan. I love her so much. She's fucking perfect. She's great in every way. But there's some substance here with our boy Bradley. Now, Bradley is easily the most interesting homunculi. And the characterization that I keep coming back to that I like a lot about him is the fact that he keeps repeating that he chose his wife. And he's always had this thing, since he is the most human-like homunculus as he ages and he is wrath, I guess. Maybe that's the most human emotion out of the 7 deadly sins. Or that's something thematically being said, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's the most human homunculus, and this is characterized throughout the series when you see it. Obviously, the big twist that he is a homunculi towards the beginning is great. He's the best antagonist in the entire thing. I'm almost certain he would have been a better final antagonist than Father. We'll get to him and my problems I have with him. But yeah, everything about his final like stretch here, when he shows back up at the end and he's like, I'm still alive, I'll retake command, that's a fucking spectacular moment. His fight with Scar, his fight with these two, protecting the gate, his conversations with like Mustang throughout after the shtick is up, and then him slaughtering all of Greed's people. Like, these are all fucking iconic Fullmetal Alchemist moments, and they all come from him. But him repeatedly saying that he chose his wife and that maybe homunculi aren't that different from people is like a great little like characterizing moment for him. Like, it's done with Greed a little bit, but just like how loyal Bradley was and everything. He chose his wife. What does that mean? It could mean everything. It could mean nothing. His son isn't actually his son. He doesn't give a fuck about pride, but he did choose his wife. And what does that mean? Well, fucking, that's for us to decide, and I've decided to make him the fucking ST character. Not the best character in this fucking series, but probably second best, if I can judge here. This is the Armstrong Sister, right? She's in a neat little side story in the manga. She's in one of those side chapters where Havoc tries to go on a date with her or whatever, or tries to pick her up, but then she's like, I only like big strong dudes like my brother. This dude is not really a character either. He's like the bad guy in the military towards the end. Most of the shit gets pinned on him. Feels bad. This dude also not really much of a character. Towards the beginning, I guess he was more of a character, but my memories are fainter on those times. He used to be partners with our girl down here. We may as well do her now. She's definitely better than him. She has a great... Oh, I'm fucking choking up here. She has a great send-off. I think I'll put her at the end of BTS. Send-off as in when she goes to... Does she go to Zing? I think she does. I forget it. Maria Ross, right? That's her name. I can't believe I remembered that. But like the plot with her, fake death, and the characterization that initially gives to Mustang, and then the characterization it gives him after it's revealed that she actually wasn't fucking executed in the streets by him. Very unfortunate. She also has one of the single tier moments that we'll talk about. I guess it's more than single tier, but we'll talk about that when we get to Roy Mustang and how he cries at Hughes' funeral and how it's a fucking spectacular moment of fucking awesomeness. But she also has one as she sends off. So she overall has a great little character arc, and her coming back at the end, as I predicted she would, was pretty fucking awesome too. Everything about that was pretty cool. The dogs, I guess we'll put the dogs in fucking B tier because they're cute dogs. So Father, I guess, is this the only version of Father we're seeing? I definitely preferred the Homenheim lookalike to whatever the fuck the weird Edward-looking prick at the end. I really think it's the biggest fumble that this series has. Is the. I guess we'll put him in D tier. I guess I wouldn't really feel right putting him in C tier or something. I don't think this final villain works at all. I like the imagery that comes with him, the eclipse obviously, and then the big like doorway opening up out of the ground, and him like claiming God's power or whatever. But he gets proven to be a bit of a dumb fuck by the end, as Homenheim's just like, well, you didn't like learn to accept the souls, or the souls didn't choose to accept you. You haven't talked to them. Again, that's a big Homenheim moment of like he's talked to all 500,000 souls in him, and now there's 50 million souls in Father, and he is like really powerful, but he can't really use the power properly or whatever. And they all like pull their souls back because that'd been set up throughout the thing. Bit of a dumb fuck. And again, he's just not interesting at all. We really don't know anything about him. He just wanted more power. Again, he's just like the antithesis of everything Bradley is. And like Bradley's interesting. He weirdly relates to humans. He's nice to humans repeatedly throughout. He chose his wife. And what does Father have? There's that cool moment where they show up behind Armstrong, him and like Sloth. That's awesome. That was a great moment. And he was much more intimidating in this form, and it was a cooler character design. And then he just becomes the skinny dude, and his powers aren't very interesting, and he's just, I guess, a stronger than usual alchemist. And then he has a force field that they break through by hitting it a bunch, and then Ed punches him. Like, whatever, I don't really care. So yeah, Father might be the only D tier. Oh, we'll see. If you think that was our hot take of the video, you ain't ready yet. I don't think I can in good conscience put Sloth in S tier, but Sloth and Gluttony have the same appeal of they're weirdly funny bad guys. They're both terrifying, but like Gluttony really loves lust, and that's really like a cute little thing they have, and obviously Sloth saying too much work is like endearing. These two are very endearing, and so it works really well when Pride ends up killing Gluttony and like eating him, and everyone's like, oh, what a piece of shit, he ate his own brother. But everyone's like, oh, we sort of like Gluttony, we didn't want to see him go. So it like sucks when Gluttony gets eaten by Pride, and that just works into Pride's characterization even better. So they have the same appeal of being like big dumb fucks, but they're also sort of cute and endearing. So I'll put them both in A tier because every moment they were on screen and talking was cool. Envy, we're probably going to put ahead of them in A tier just because Envy was an actual good character. Envy is like the ultimate bad guy. The most evil person in Fullmetal Alchemist, probably easily. Just everything bad that's ever happened is Envy's fault. She started the fucking war. She's killing Hughes. She's like manipulating little kids into getting her back and then trying to kill them, taking over people's bodies. Has absorbed all the people some of the people from that old town that I'm not even going to try and say because it's a very complicated word. And I haven't heard it said a million times in the anime, just read it. But like her real form and how that reminded me of Berserk in weird ways, and it was a very creepy fucking monster. Envy also when Envy initially showed up, I thought it was a hot girl. So that definitely has something to do with how much I liked Envy. But yeah, just a great fun, like love to hate villain. Envy was. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I think we may as well do Lust again, and I think I'm going to put her in here too. Lust was a very great, like, formative villain at the start before the Bradley reveal happened. I think so, or maybe right after. But like, she was like the main face of the bad guys, and then Bradley sort of took over until Father shows up, and Envy was always sort of the henchman. Lust is super hot. What else can we say? I think when I tested this list last night, I might have put her in S tier. But fuck me. The like evil, like super hot anime girls are great. She reminds me a lot of Slan from Berserk. Same exact appeal. Both super hot, but like cathartically evil people that would destroy you in a second. Great stuff from Lust. Great villain. Great stuff with obviously Mustang towards the end. The first homunculi I think we see die. All good stuff there. God, dogs are 2 tiers better than Father. Strong agree. Oh God, he's gonna put Hawkeye in D. I'm ready for it. Shut up. Shut up. So the wife that I guess she gets B tier since I'm putting so much stock in. I chose my wife as like the best thing in this series. So yeah, we'll put her in B tier. Same with the other wife, Hughes's wife. She was nice throughout. Greed. I think that was my least favorite part of the series. I'm gonna be honest. Greed gets a B tier. I don't think he's fun or interesting at all, really. I'll put the dogs at the bottom of the tier. Where is this dog from? Is this what the dog? Is this the dog that like gets fused with the girl? Because in like the manga, I'm pretty sure he's like got brown fur. Or maybe I was just interpreting it wrong. Miss Curtis, Miss Uzumaki Curtis. I think she has to go in A tier. Again, super hot, but that's besides the point. Her character arc is pretty good. I feel like in some of these women characters is where it most shows that this series is written by a woman, and it is very interesting in like the housewife that's actually a badass has like pride in being a housewife, where I feel like if a man wrote the series, either he would try to demonize being a housewife because it's not very progressive or something like that, or he would like relegate the housewife characters to be like boring things. She's also, much of her characterization is that she is a mother, so these are very like feminine things, like presented in a very strong manner that I think only a woman writer would understand and would be able to present properly. I think in the most characters that it shows like the strengths of this series being written by a woman is Ed has certain things where like if a man had written him, like he wouldn't do certain things that I think are interesting. And I think the same is with Curtis, and we'll get to Armstrong eventually. This series does much better with its female characters than many in its genre. Fuck me, we're already going flat. But yeah, Curtis is great. Like these very like she's their teacher. She's got the very bombastic personality. They are nebulous with the gender of their master, which indicated to me immediately that it was going to be a woman. Her relationship with Armstrong's name is Olivia, right? I'm not fucking that up. With her towards the end is fucking awesome, and her relationship with her husband is really cool. That's great stuff. We may as well put him up here too. I think he goes in the A tier. Not much of a character, but again, their dynamic is great and fun to watch. Yeah, I'd put him above all of these characters. So yeah, they're both great. This is the Tiger Chimera, right? The Chimera's got a B tier. I like them all. They were likable. They were supposed to be likable. There they are. We'll put them all in here. That's the Doctor, not a Chimera. Where are the other ones? Are they even on here? This is the other one. They were all good. They were good little companion side pieces for a little while there. We'll put the Panda in B tier with the dogs. I guess we'll put the kid. This is Hughes' kid, right? This isn't the one that gets fused. This is the one that gets fused. We'll put them all in B tier because they're cute. We'd put Mai there, but she's going higher up. And she has things outside of cuteness. I don't think they put the other two chimeras on this list. Maybe they're not even in the anime. I don't know. Do we do it now? Let's talk about our journey with best girl turned D tier character, Miss Hawkeye. What do we do? Miller spoiled it. Now he's laughing. He definitely agree. This has had to have the largest amount of relevant, capable women in shonen, which is great. Yeah, I'd say so. Hawkeye was initially my favorite character because my eventual favorite character hadn't been introduced yet. The stoic, really hot woman character is going to be my favorite 9 times out of 10. I really liked her. The shooting thing was great. Like, everything about her was perfect. The stuff with Barry the Chopper was funny and endearing. Like, it was all going well. Then Lust told her Mustang was dead, and she became a useless fucking Mikasa at her worst character, where she just breaks down, and we find out that she's not interesting at all. She has no goals of her own. She's just Mustang's fucking puppet. And I talk about this also in my first impressions video, where I said, like, it would have all worked if Hawkeye and Mustang just were fucking. It would have been perfect. It literally would have been perfect. They would have both been redeemed amazingly if that were the case. And people always say, I think it's just Miller in chat sometimes says this and it pisses me off, that it was supposed to be implied that they were together the whole time. But that just makes it worse. If you're trying to tell me that how they act with each other is how they would act if they were in a relationship, makes the series terrible. Fuck me. It's such an easy fix of just like, not only is it interesting that Mustang would entrust his wife or girlfriend to be his number 2 man, like, and put her in danger and go to war with her all the time. Not only is that a great little storyline for their potential relationship development here, but like everything else that is weak, like it makes it better. The fact that she has no other reason to live, she says, besides helping Mustang, and she literally says that she wants to die and she has, again, no reason to live when Lust tells her Mustang's dead and she like begins crying and sobbing like a fucking loser. It's like, that makes sense if they're like married. Like, if they love each other, which I guess they do, like, love each other platonically. But it's, like, boring, and who cares? And, like, it's so weak and pathetic, and, like, this is what most female shonen characters are. This is what Sakura is. Like, her dedication to Sasuke is similar to fucking Hawkeye's dedication to Mustang, and it is pathetic. And, we hate it there, so we should hate it here. She is still super hot, though. Goddamn. Her with her hair down is spectacular stuff. But even there, I go into this again in the first impressions video. The first impressions video is basically me shitting on Hawkeye for 5 minutes. Like, even their backstories are the same, so she doesn't even get a cool one of her own. It's just like Mustang's backstory is also her backstory, and it's like, Jesus Christ. Towards the end, when she does stuff, like when she's separated from him and she has the relationship with the other girl who I don't think is on this list that I do like, the one that shows up and is basically just complaining that she hasn't married a rich man yet and she still has to work, she's pretty cool. Like when she has the little side relationship with that, her relationship with the dog is cool. When Pride starts fucking with her a little bit and she's the one that first figures it out, but then it all goes back to Mustang again. And then they have their weird, cringy, like, if I ever go off the path, shoot me, or whatever thing at the end. And then it's like, Hawkeye is my eyes when Mustang goes blind. It's like, get this shit the fuck out of here. So she was my favorite for, like, the first 40 chapters, and then quickly became like, oh no, this is everything I hate. And it was looking down, but then, let's just do it now. But then, everything Hawkeye was supposed to be, our girl fucking Armstrong is. This is, like, the gap here is, like, monumental between Armstrong and Bradley. This is one of my favorite characters ever, and I love her in every conceivable way. Miss Armstrong is fucking so great. The only bad thing is that she isn't queen at the end, and for some reason the old dude is allowed to have it, and she just, like, gives it to him and Mustang instead of, like, claiming the throne for herself. Is this one of the other chimeras? What's this dude? Who is he? He might be. But fucking Armstrong is immediately perfect. Literally the stoic woman character that puts fucking Hawkeye to shame. And she doesn't have some shitty love interest. Though I was definitely pulling for her and Mustang to get together at the end. They have the one scene in the Armstrong estate where it was like, maybe they should go with this route and fully cuck Hawkeye because fucking hell, the real woman is in town now. Easily my favorite character in this entire thing. Fucking Armstrong is perfect. The battle her and the other one, what's this one's name? Alex or whatever. The battle they have with Sloth at the end is great. Her taking command and like taking some of the blame, and the Briggs soldiers being way stronger than everyone else. Everything about it is really good. Her lack of racism towards our boy down here. Just fucking phenomenal stuff all around. I love Armstrong. She's perfect. All of these guys, well, no, Hughes is here, but like all of these guys get C tier. Even Havoc, I really don't care about. I have a feeling with Havoc's character design, people like him a lot. Yeah, put them all here. This is the King of Cess, or whatever it is. Not a character, who cares? Do you have any more not a characters? This dude, we can put him in B tier. I'm just trying to go through and get rid of the easy ones now. So we'll leave this dude down here since he's from episode 1 of Brotherhood and we don't care. This dude, who could possibly care about him? Where's the dude from the mines from chapter 3 that ends up like going with Scar? He's not on here. Yogi or whatever the fuck his name is. Fucking Yogi Bear, I think he is. So now we got Hughes. I feel like he's the top of that B tier. I feel like a lot of people like Hughes probably a lot more than I do. I definitely felt his death at the end. I was convinced he was a bad guy. I was convinced that like the shtick with his family and thinking they were so cute was like too good to be true. So maybe that colored him differently for me, because I was sure he was a bad guy until the end. And his like the final scene he has, and when he's tracked down by Lust and Envy, and then Envy turns into firstly Maria Ross. And then into his wife. It's all fucking spectacular stuff, but it's really all just a thing to characterize Mustang with the scene at the funeral where he does the single tear. Where are we going to put Mustang? Probably here. He's definitely an S tier character. Again, I'm not sure about his ending where he goes blind there and he still uses his firepower, but it's like a whole weird plot contrivance thing. Again, I'm iffy on like the very final bits, like everything leading up to until Father like takes over and transforms is like great, and then I don't know how I feel about like the last 2 chapters of this series. But yes, everything up until then, Mustang's political ambition, everything about him, pretty fucking awesome and pretty cool. The flame stuff is awesome. Easily like the strongest dude in this entire series. He like beats up Homunculi with like ease, destroys Envy and Lust. Though Lust does fuck him up a little bit. Like pretty cool stuff. Wait, so who took out the Homunculus? Ed beat Greed, but then Bradley ended up killing him. And Ed beats the last one. Envy's beaten by Mustang. Lust is beaten by Mustang. Sloth is taken out by the Armstrongs. Leifan takes out Gluttony, and then Pride eats him. And Ed also takes out Pride. So Mustang takes out 2, Ed takes out 3. If you count Greed. Okay, interesting. I was trying to divvy up to see who got more. So I guess this is Pride. Pride is like, he's like a B tier one. I don't really care about Pride. Didn't find him very interesting at all. Just sort of like a sociopathic little kid, and it was supposed to be creepy because he was a little kid. Looks exactly like the kid from Baccano. His resolution is very interesting though, because he's allowed to like grow into Salem again, and the old man's like keeping an eye on him. How's the old man not on the president at the end of the series is not on this character tier list? He'd probably be an A tier. The kooky old man was fucking great, and the fact that he like comes around to deposing and taking over ahead of Mustang and Armstrong is sort of cool. Kimberly is a great character design. I think we'll put him in B tier though. Very much. I don't know how I feel about him. He like gets fucked up by the Tiger Dude Chimera, which is a cool kill for the Tiger Dude. But then Pride like absorbs him, and I thought that was super disappointing and like weirdly anticlimactic. But then he does come back at the end to like fuck over Pride, which is a clever little moment that I did like and sort of eased the issues I had with his original death scene. So he gets some validation there. I'll put him in B tier. He's sort of like the sociopathic, genocidal prick. Not that interesting though, just more of a bad guy. So then we got this doctor, who's different from the other doctor. This doctor has... They use his house as a hideout a bunch, right? He gets like a B tier. He's up here. I'd say both doctors are. This doctor also beat Envy at one point. He like had a special thing because he's also an alchemist. This one has like a tacked on, like his family shows up like out of nowhere conveniently right after like plot important things have happened, and he gets sort of a resolution there, which was nice. And then at the end, they both have like a dual resolution with Mustang. It's a cool little thing. They get some redemption. Armstrong does well considering he has a character archetype that I absolutely despise. So I think we'll put him like here. I should by all means despise this character because I hate his type of character. The like lovable, big, like sort of oaf-like character that's very like macho but in a comedic way, not in like a real way. Like the Mike Guy type. I usually despise those characters if anyone has seen my Naruto tier list. But he does well to not constantly annoy me and is grounded enough for me to like. So there we go. May, I think we'll put an A tier. She's pretty cool. It's surprising how instrumental she actually was in the end in defeating father and her coming back. I don't know how I feel about the color of her design in the anime, though. I feel like I like it better in black and white, but I feel like I like all of them better in black and white. But yeah, cute little panda thing, different type of alchemy, cool fucking powers, maybe the coolest powers. Like Bradley's probably the coolest fighter with Layfun, and they just use fucking swords or whatever. But yeah, pretty fucking cool, May all round. Just traveling with Scar throughout the series, cool stuff. So Alphonse takes out no homunculi, pretty shitty now that I think about it. I have no problem with that. Armstrong refusing to fight in the Ishmael War is his best moment / trait. It's definitely a big characterizing moment, though I'd say his best moment is fighting Sloth at the end. And it's totally implied that he like throws the battle against Olivia, right? Because either he was in on the plot that they needed her to use, like station the Briggs people in the basement, or he just didn't want to fight his sister. Like he's a big softie. That was all good stuff. This dude is great, and I was sure he was gonna get killed by Kimberly after Kimberly was like, we'll put him like here. After Kimberly was like he mocked Kimberly and showed that he was an Ishbal. I still don't know how to say the word again. I haven't heard it said in the anime yet. But no, he survives till the end, and him and Scar are going off on a mission to like rebuild the Ishbil Empire or the culture, more like it, which is a nice little roundout for his character. Again, he was there like a sort of a henchman every step of the way. He was like a B-tier character the whole time, and he served his purpose and he was well. This girl was really likable. I forget her name, but she was really cool. She might have the most tragic fucking backstory in this goddamn show. We'll put her in front of Armstrong. She was pretty great. The double-legged automail and things like that. She hangs out with the grumpy old dude who's not on this list. It was also cool. Now that I'm remembering the fucking weird little side arc where Winry had to deliver a baby, that was a whole fucking thing and a half. Fucking Scar's brother. I like that they never gave us Scar's name too, by the way. Really wasn't much of a character, was just like researching and things like that. His stance is pretty cool when he like protects Scar at the end. We'll put him in B tier. This dude I really don't care about. I don't even hate him at all. I like forget he exists. I don't really care that he chimeraed his daughter or something. Maybe it's better done in the anime or something. I know it's this big shocking moment that everyone talks about. It was the one spoiler I think I had going into this series. The librarian girl I was convinced was going to be Alphonse's love interest. She was really cute and likable when she was there, so we'll put her in B tier. Barry the Chopper gets A tier. He's cool as fuck. He was hilarious the whole way. This dude we don't know. Who is this one? Is this a Chimera? I'm forgetting who this dude is. Chat, tell me. Hawkeye and D, seriously? Whoosh came back without hearing the explanation. Oh no. That's going to be the whole YouTube comment section. I know. How it is. The top, the bottom. Get used to the food chain. Can't make sure you say that you finished the manga less than a day ago to make it clear that these are your initial takes. Maybe people will be less mad about Hawkeye. No, I'm not changing on this fucking opinion. Though maybe I will. But yes, I think I said at the beginning that I finished it yesterday. So yeah, it was very clever. Does anyone know who this is before we end it? I'm sure the YouTube comments. Is this one of the Chimera dudes? Is that Nina's dad? No, Nina's the little girl, right? And he's here. Is this like a Brotherhood filler character? I don't know. Sho Tucker. No, isn't that Sho Tucker right there? I'm pretty sure that is. Whatever, whoever it is, I didn't remember him enough to fucking rank him. So I think that'll do it for our YouTube experience here, our YouTube video, our initial full thoughts on Fullmetal Alchemist. This will probably come out in about a week or so, so it'll be a while. So yeah, I'm sure people are mad about Hawkeye. Get used to it. Armstrong is up here, far and away the best character in this show. Remember, Hawkeye used to stand up here, but that Roy Mustang shit is unforgivable and disgusting. I think it's a Chimera then. Well, if it's a Chimera, it goes in B tier with all the other Chimera. So yeah, all we got to do is our outro now. So support links in the description below. Thanks.